Friends, I welcome you to the world of Stoicism, the philosophy of inner strength and stability. Today we will dive into a topic that Stoics consider key to our emotional balance: how to meet those who do not respect you. Let's uncover the secrets of the Stoic approach to this issue and find out how our inner Stoic can remain unshakable in the face of disrespect. Are you ready to dive into the world of Stoic wisdom? Let's get started. Critics without constructive suggestions. Let's consider the issue of criticism without constructive suggestions from my point of view. As an author, I see this phenomenon as a potential source of emotional imbalance and negative impact on the environment. From the point of view of Stoicism, a philosophy that has taught me to pay attention to things that depend on me and not be burdened with what is beyond my control, criticism without constructive suggestions is perceived as an external factor that I cannot change. Stoics teach that it is important to maintain inner stability and not allow the influence of negative factors to destroy inner peace. Criticism without constructive suggestions can be distinguished by the fact that it often focuses exclusively on the negative, without providing ways to improve or solutions. Real-life examples may be situations where someone expresses criticism without offering alternative ideas or constructive solutions, which can create an atmosphere of tension and dissatisfaction. From the point of view of Stoicism, the approach to criticism without constructive suggestions is determined by the philosophy of internal stability and self-control. Stoics teach that we cannot control other people's actions or external circumstances, but we can control our own reactions and attitudes to what is happening. Separation from other people's opinions. Stoics emphasize the importance of separating one's own well-being from the opinions of others. When we are faced with criticism without constructive suggestions, Stoics advise us to carefully assess how much these opinions matter to our personal philosophy and values. Focusing on internal control, instead of wasting energy on useless discussions or trying to change the minds of others, Stoics suggest focusing on what is amenable to our internal control. This includes controlling your emotions, reactions, and making your own decisions. Accepting the inevitability of criticism. Stoics teach that criticism is an integral part of life, and it is inevitable to encounter it. Instead of reacting immediately to every negative comment, Stoics suggest using criticism as an opportunity for personal growth and development. The search for constructiveness within oneself. Instead of relying on external sources of constructiveness, Stoics emphasize the importance of developing inner qualities such as wisdom, patience, and the ability to find meaning in difficult situations. Thus, Stoics propose to see criticism without constructive suggestions as a challenge for personal growth and an opportunity to show inner stability in difficult situations. Let's imagine the situation in an office environment. Let's say you are working on a project that is extremely important to you. During the presentation of your project, colleague Anna expresses her criticism without offering any constructive suggestions. She simply expresses her indignation and points out the shortcomings without providing alternative solutions. The Stoic view of this situation could be as follows. You realize that Anna's opinion is just a point of view, and it is important to maintain your confidence in the value of your project, despite her criticism. Instead of reacting emotionally to negative comments, Stoics advise focusing on your attitude to what is happening and continuing to work in accordance with your own goals and values. Stoics teach that criticism is a normal part of life, and it is important to see it as an opportunity for personal growth and project improvement, not as a threat. Instead of expecting constructive suggestions from Anna, Stoics advise you to look for resources within yourself to improve the project. Maybe you'll find new ideas or techniques that complement your approach. Envious personalities. The author's view of envious personalities may be as follows. Envy is often a negative emotional state that can affect energy and the general atmosphere in society. Envious people create a toxic environment, and their emotional reactions can affect the collective mood. From the point of view of Stoicism, which emphasizes the importance of managing your emotions and reactions, the approach to envy may look like this. Stoics teach you to maintain inner stability when meeting envious individuals. Instead of reacting emotionally to their behavior, Stoics suggest focusing on their own goals and accepting envy as an inevitable part of the human experience. Stoics claim that envy often comes from comparing oneself to others and a lack of inner satisfaction. Approaching envy with an understanding of its sources can help you better manage your emotions. Stoics advise using envy as an incentive for your own personal growth and improvement. Instead of comparing yourself to others, you should focus on your own efforts and aspirations. Envious individuals can manifest themselves through constant comparison with others, expressing dissatisfaction with the successes of others and the desire to copy other people's achievements. Stoics advise to be vigilant and avoid getting involved in comparative assessments. Envious people can be those who constantly emphasize their achievements and successes in conversation, but at the same time express dissatisfaction with the successes of others. For example, a colleague who constantly emphasizes his professional successes, but at the same time cannot hide his indignation when someone else receives praise or a promotion. Thus, the Stoic view of envy involves using this emotional state as an incentive for personal growth and development, as well as maintaining internal stability in interaction with envious individuals. Lying and insincere people. The author's view of lying and insincere people may be as follows. Deceitful people create a deceptive atmosphere around themselves, masking their real intentions. This can lead to frustration and a breach of trust, which affects the overall energy of the environment. From the point of view of Stoicism, the philosophy of inner stability, Stoics emphasize the importance of distinguishing what lies beyond our control, the behavior of other people, and what is amenable to our inner influence, our reactions and attitudes. Attitude to lies. Stoics urge to maintain inner stability when meeting with lying people. Instead of reacting emotionally, Stoics suggest distinguishing that we cannot change the behavior of others, but we can choose how we respond to this situation. Understanding the nature of lies. Stoics teach that lies and insincerity often come from internal dissatisfactions and fears. Approaching a lie with an understanding of its roots helps you better understand why people behave the way they do and focus on your reaction. Distinguishing features. Deceitful people can impersonate themselves with certain signs, such as inconsistency between words and actions, avoidance of direct answers, excessive pathos, or excessive emphasis on their own benefit. Stoics advise to be attentive to such signals, but at the same time avoid biased judgment. Real-life examples. In real life, lying people can be those who promise a lot but don't deliver, who hide their true motives, or who behave differently depending on circumstances. For example, a colleague who always promises to help but does not support his business, or an acquaintance whose appearance changes depending on the audience. Thus, the Stoic view allows us to see lies as a natural element of life, while maintaining inner stability and the ability to distinguish what is amenable to our influence from what is beyond our control. Energy vampires. A term that is used in psychology and esotericism to refer to people who, in fact, suck out energy and positive emotions from others, leaving them exhausted and tired. In the context of Stoicism, a philosophy that calls for inner stability and maintaining balance even in difficult situations, energy vampires can be considered as those who prevent us from remaining calm and wise. The Stoics teach us that we cannot control external circumstances, but we can control our reactions to them. Energy vampires can pose a challenge to this teaching, as they, being excessively negative, can affect our emotional state and inner harmony. Stoicism attaches great importance to inner freedom and independence from external circumstances. The Stoics teach how to distinguish between those things that are amenable to our influence and those that do not depend on us. Energy vampires, being beyond our control, fall into the second category. Stoics offer strategies to maintain inner stability and calmness despite external negative influences. 1. Constant complaining and negativity. Energy vampires are often in a state of constant negativity and complaining. They see problems everywhere and discuss them with others, creating an atmosphere of heaviness and tension around them. 2. Lack of joy in the success of others. If a person is not able to sincerely rejoice in the successes and happiness of others, but tends to emphasize his difficulties, this may indicate that he absorbs the positive energy of others. 3. Avoiding responsibility. Energy vampires often avoid taking responsibility for their lives and problems. They tend to blame others or circumstances, creating an atmosphere of constant dissatisfaction around them. These signs can manifest themselves in different situations and relationships, and attention to their behavior and impact on your emotional state will help you recognize energy vampires. In a small town where a quiet, routine life flowed every day, there lived a man named John. At first glance, he was an ordinary citizen, but something strange was happening in his presence. The people around John felt their energy and positive emotions gradually disappear. John was an energy vampire, a man who, unknowingly to himself, absorbed the energy and joy of others. He always found a reason for discontent, constantly complained, and created an atmosphere of tension around himself. People meeting with him felt like their own life force was going nowhere. One day, John realized that something was wrong. He realized how his behavior affects others. Thanks to this realization, he began to change his way of thinking. John decided to become more self-aware, learned to appreciate the positive aspects, and stopped complaining constantly. Over time, John became aware of the changes taking place around him. People began to notice that it became easier in his presence. A brighter atmosphere appeared. John stopped being an energy vampire and became a source of inspiration for others. He realized that maintaining positive energy is important not only for himself, but also for those around him. Those who don't respect you. The author's view of situations where you are not respected may be as follows. Stoics approach such situations from a position of inner stability and control over their emotions. They argue that your own dignity should not depend on external assessments and opinions. From the point of view of Stoicism, separation of internal dignity from external evaluations. The Stoics teach that your value as a person should not depend on how others perceive you. Inner dignity and self-respect come from inner qualities and virtues, accepting the inevitability of different assessments. Stoics urge you to accept the fact that not everyone will treat you with respect. This is a natural part of life, and it is important to remain calm regardless of external assessments. Focus on internal development. Instead of reacting to a lack of respect with external manifestations, Stoics advise focusing on their inner development. Controlling your actions, emotions, and goals is the key to a Stoic approach. Using the situation for personal growth. Stoics suggest using situations where you are not respected as an incentive for personal growth. They see these moments as a challenge that can help develop wisdom and resilience. Restrained reaction to external evaluations. It is important to maintain restraint in reactions to external assessments. Reactions to a lack of respect should be deliberate and focused on what depends on us, not on other people's opinions. A real-life example. A colleague who does not show respect may criticize you or ignore your contribution to the project. Stoics suggest perceiving such situations as a challenge for personal development, while maintaining inner stability and calmness. If you encounter situations of disrespect, it is important first of all to assess how these situations affect you and what lessons can be learned from such interactions. Instead of actively seeking and exposing, Stoics call for self-knowledge and awareness about their own reactions. The principles of Stoicism can help you. Focus on your own development. Pay attention to your goals, virtues, and personal growth without wasting extra energy searching for and exposing negative relationships. Accept the inevitability of disagreement. Stoics urge you to accept the fact that not everyone will respect you. This is a natural part of interpersonal relationships. React with restraint. When faced with disrespect, try to react with restraint and intelligence, avoiding emotional outbursts that can complicate the situation. Learn from experience. Instead of looking for the culprits, try to understand what you can learn from such situations for your personal development. Every moment serves as an opportunity to strengthen inner resilience. Stoicism calls for a focus on what is amenable to our internal control, instead of actively interfering in external relations and trying to expose those who disrespect you.